EVO 2025! After years and years of wanting to attend but not having the time or resources to do it, seriously, the prices of attendance stack up like you have no idea. I finally forced myself to save the necessary funds and secure the time to attend, signing up to Street Fighter 6 and Granblue Fantasy Versus, my two most played games at the time. So, before we begin, I got established that I'm gonna be talking about my first time experience there, which means I missed a lot of stuff since there was a lot to look at. So if there is something I missed, it's very likely I didn't get to see it or cut it out because this video is already taking way too long. So with that said, let's begin my first journey at EVO 2025. I seriously underestimated how big the Vegas tax was. Seriously, on the first day of EVO before entering the convention center, my brother and I went to a nearby Denny's to get some proper breakfast, and the food ended up being expensive as hell.
$400,000.
We didn't order that much. The most we asked for was for a refill. After that, we ended up going to McDonald's for the following days. It wasn't great, but it was cheap, and at EVO, we needed all the money we could get because we are anything but responsible spenders. EVO 2025 was a lot of fun, especially for someone like me who never attended a proper convention. Hell, the whole trip is my first time vacationing, so it was a good idea to get a hotel that was a street away from the convention center. One of the first things we did before noticing the elephant in the room was taking a look at the Museum of Arcade Sticks that was near the entrance. It was a neat curiosity to prepare me for what was beyond the place. It also had a small TV where you could try to do Moment 37 that I didn't record because I'm a massive moron. So after getting entertained a little by controller history, it was time to, for real, take a look at EVO and oh. So before I get off track and meander on things that don't matter, I'll put my experience in 3 categories for my sake. Since, once again, I'm a massive imbecile, I didn't end up getting the appropriate footage to work with. There were so many arcades, what the hell? It hit me like a truck right after leaving the arcade museum. They got everything in there. A shit ton of fight arcades, on-rail shooters, a mech simulation game I wish I got on. That thing looked sick as hell, but it was always busy. They have like 2 arcade games. What is this beast doing here? And they had rhythm games. Tons and tons of rhythm games. I was losing my mind. The Project Diva arcade was there. I had dreams of playing that thing and they had it right there. There was more than enough to make time until my bracket started, and while I should have had more variety on the games I played, I am not joking, 90% of my arcade time on EVO went to rhythm games. It was still a good way to kill time compared to walking around like a lost idiot. Talking about lost idiots, my brother and I set up a flawless system so we could separate and go do our own thing without losing the other. WhatsApp calling every 30 minutes for a location check. I got nervous on my own, I did that constantly. So time passed and it was time to participate in my bracket. Street Fighter 6 was up next, and as a disgusting main, I thought I had this one on the bat. And while one would think that this made me upset, I was actually more terrified than anything. My next bracket after this was the Mental Health Hazard, a game that despite signing up to, I had no grind into it. I blame my PC not being able to run the game all of a sudden. And the people in this game are certified sociopaths, so I knew I was done for. The best I could come up with was to go to the Cygames booth and practice as best as I could before the time was up. Still lost. With 1 wing to my name! That was genuinely enough for me. Sure, the game plan was to lead brackets, but I ended up having so much fun regardless, and it even reignited the love I had for Granblue Versus. Even better, cause that meant I had the rest 2 days stress-free to fuck around in the convention center. So off to that stuff. This is OutspokenWeeb from November close to December. By the time this video came out, both 2XKO and the Invincible fighting game have come out. 2XKO, it's literally unplayable, it never puts me in lobbies with players, and the Invincible fighting game just came out.
Actually, it was the closed alpha,
but it looks better than what I played at exhibition, so yeah. Marble Token looks kinda meh. So the night before the third day, my brother told me he found a VTuber going around the convention center. Since he's antisocial, he made sure to stay far away so as to not make visual or social contact. With that in mind, I was walking around wasting time because my brother wanted to get a bag by purchasing $100 of OmoCat merch, but was still figuring out what to get. That's when I bumped into them.
You're at EVO, what's up?
And listen, I'm still trying to figure out how this went because it can sound bad if I'm wrong, but I was walking down the hall to the arcades and there weren't a lot of people in the way, so it was clear. Egg was over here and going the opposite way, so the question is, was I being approached or was I in the way? Either way, I'm too socially ignorant to know. Which is why I was trying to pull the antisocial card from my brother and try just not to address them and pass along. But we ended up talking anyway. Honestly, glad I did. Cause Eggy was a sweetheart and talking with them was a nice experience. Being able to talk about Granblue and anime fighting games with someone was pretty neat. And surprisingly weird I haven't in all the time I spent in the convention. Regardless, I was starting to get a bit nervous since I'm not used to bothering someone for so long. You can hear it in my voice, watch.
Well, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. I'm gonna go to the arcades. You might see this on like a 2-view video about my first experience.
So I said goodbye, had a nice time, and went to play more arcade games. The plan was to leave early. The bus that took us here was departing in the morning, and it was a wise idea to get enough rest so that the trip wouldn't feel awful. It was then we heard a lot of cheering behind us while playing rhythm games. Turns out Maximilian Dude was doing a watch-along of the last games in the tournament, and I couldn't have jumped in at a worse time because the Tekken 8 finals were mid as hell, only being helped because the watch-along was genuinely fun to be around and the interactions between hosts and viewers was nice too. In the end, it was worth it because the Street Fighter 6 finals were sick as hell. A lot of great moments that I didn't record because I was so invested. Watching these live does not do it justice. Being surrounded by people and the hype was an out-of-body experience that I doubt I'll ever be able to repeat. And that was the last day of EVO. My brother and I ended up having to stay up overnight since the events ended very late, and honestly with the shitty conditions the bus we arrived in was, we practically got no sleep on the entire road back home. So that was it for my first time at EVO. Honestly, I hope this is the final rewrite of the script, because this video has taken so long that the post-EVO clarity time period has worn off, and I'm better off focusing on other projects. I had planned to start streaming in order to make the video gap less this, but unfortunately the internet here is utter garbage and streaming is near impossible, so I'll figure out what to do in order to be blessed by the algorithm and not leave the channel dying. Either way, that's all from me. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and if any of you know some jelly, tell them they forgot their shoes at Wendy's.